Everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. As always, get your comments in, your likes and shares. We are very, very close to 7,000 subscribers. We were nearly not close to 7,000 subscribers, as I think a few of you may know from our socials. Bizarrely, we were actually hacked as a podcast, and some video was put up. I think it was way past my bedtime, Ross. It was at midnight. Mr. Carney was working behind the scenes. He's not here tonight because he's not well tonight, unfortunately. But he was working behind the scenes to get the podcast back. At one point, we actually thought we may have to restart the whole thing again, but thankfully, he managed to get it back. And we are here tonight to bring Club Live. It would have been disappointing if we couldn't have brought a podcast tonight, but as always, we are here, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Ross McLean. Ross, we're here. We were nearly not here, but thankfully, Mr. Carney got it resolved.
Thankfully, we're here, mate. Thankfully. Yeah, it's an absolute... I don't know what happened. I mean, if anybody knows if they clicked on what the live stream was, please let us know, because we're very much, we don't really know what happened. But the main thing is that we're back, and we are back for good. So it's good to see everyone as always. It's coming up for Saturday at 3:00, mate. And if I know you, like I think I know you, I imagine you are buzzing to chat about an upcoming Saturday 3:00 kickoff. So looking forward to it, mate. Plenty to chat about. And yes, please get all your comments and questions into the live chat.
Yes, no, I do enjoy a Saturday 3:00, as most people know, because you can actually, it's a reasonable time. You can go, it's a Saturday, you can go to the pub, meet up your pals before, go to the game. Hopefully Rangers win. I know they haven't the last 4 times, whatever, we've been at Ibrox. Come back and enjoy a couple of pints as well. So no, I do like a 3:00 on a Saturday. The last one we had a 3:00 on a Saturday was we get beat. Actually, was I think it was Motherwell, and I'm sure it must have been about 4 or 5 weeks ago, that Motherwell game.
Yeah.
It seems ages ago. Obviously, we've played at Ibrox against Fenerbahce in between that as well. We lost that too as well. So hopefully, we'll go on to Hibs, but hopefully when it comes to Saturday, we can get a result at Ibrox and leave happy for once. But yes, we've got a bit of an agenda tonight to get through. If there's any questions at all in the comments, do ask them. Me and Ross will do our best to answer them tonight if we've got time to. But obviously, Ross, me and Carney done the post-match on the Dundee game. We did it on Club Deck Corner as well. I'm not going to go over the game, but you've not been on since then. So what was your thoughts on Saturday 5:30 up at Dens? Did it go the way you thought it was going to go?
It did not. It definitely did not. I'm just about got over it, to be honest with you. It was a bit of a nervy watch. This week, when I went to the gym, I went in my full Rangers top, and it's the one time I've been stopped going, "Oh, that was a close one. That was a close one." People generally come up to me and wanting to hear, how I was feeling. It shouldn't happen, right? That a result like that shouldn't happen. It should be as close as it was, but it feels good when it does. See, when that last minute winner goes in, you've just got to embrace that. So, the one word that Mr. Ferguson and probably the whole staff are using is character. They have that, and it's something that they finally brought back to Rangers. Just that wee bit of keep going to the end, and that. Again, it shouldn't have to come down to a last-minute winner to beat a Dundee. But it's 3 points and it's back down the road. So I do hope that the similar habits that Ferguson was referring to, they do kind of get squished. That is, the habit's done, and we don't need to go through the palpitations of last week again. But we'll take the positives as they come. I just hope that, now that Dessers has finally found the back of the net, that he can now take that momentum, so he doesn't need 9-10 chances, because it was a remarkable game just for that in itself. Just the amount of times that he could have scored, and potentially the hardest one out the lot he puts away. So overall, it was a entertaining game again for the neutral, but we're not neutrals around here. We're Rangers fans, and we get the fear whenever that happens. So. Well, we shall remember it for D9, for the good and the bad. But we shall quite quite thankfully put it in the archive because I don't think I can take that much off them, mate. Not for me.
No. I mean, the last 3 games Rangers have been in Sky under Barry Ferguson. I mean, Sky will want Barry Ferguson to stay in charge and probably this Rangers team to stay together because we've beaten Kilmarnock 4-2 from being 2-0 down. We've beaten Celtic 3-2 at Parkhead from being 2-0 up and then 2 each. And then obviously Dens from being 2-0 down again and come back for 4-2. So, I mean, Crocker and McFadden, who are the ones that are usually commentating, they've been all excited recently. I think Crocker's been excited because he thought Rangers maybe dropped points in all 3 of them, but they've come back and won. But it's not good for your heart rate, Ross. And I know the games are... I mean, Celtic game aside, the Dundee game is meaningless, but it isn't meaningless if you know what you mean. When you watch the Rangers game, it isn't good for your heart, especially when you get to my age as well. You're still young, to be honest, but I couldn't do that all through a season, Ross. It's too much for me. We're talking in Neil McCann's presser. He's alluded to the fact that Rangers cannot give 2 goals of our starts to teams because it'll come back and bite us in the arse at one point. We've been fortunate in 2 games in terms of Kilmarnock and Dundee, but if we do that again, the laws of averages is we'll drop. We will. One of these teams will get something on us. But hopefully, Saturday against Hibs, I'll take a boring 2-0 Rangers winning Saturday. I'll take that. Not conceding goals. Up the road, couple of pints, that would be quite happy. So we'll get on to that later in the show. But first of all, the season tickets have dropped, which is usually this time around the first week of April. They are out, so everyone check your inbox. You should have an email from Rangers in terms of the renewals. If you're on the auto renewal like myself, you don't need to do anything. I think they sent me an email today just to confirm that my bank details were all still correct, and if they're not, to contact Rangers. So just check your emails on that. But Ross, it looks like, going by my season ticket, it looks like it's gone up 5%, which is roughly what it's gone up. I think during COVID, I think the following year they kept the prices because we couldn't get in during COVID, and obviously we paid a full season ticket for that. But it's usually went up 5%. What I thought, I did see Leeds, I think, their season tickets, or some of theirs have went up nearly 20% or something, and obviously under the same kind of owners as us. So interesting, but I would assume, Ross, that the majority of the Rangers fans will renew their season tickets for next season. And if they don't, there is a waiting list there. But yeah, 5% increase. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's probably, in this day and age, it's probably expected. You know, inflation is everywhere, and Rangers will be no different. Although rumour has it that
Trump get
correct. God bless America and all that. But rumour has it that it's the Tierney tax. We'll just add on a wee bit extra so we can get Tierney in the door. The sniper, thank you very much. That's 29 months. Jeez, peeps.
Unlucky for you, sniper.
Fair play, honestly, that's ridiculous. Thank you. But yeah, I think next season there's potentially a lot to be excited for. Obviously, the upcoming takeover, which I found quite interesting actually in McCann's press conference, that they were very, he's quite transparent. The takeover. He's using it in sentences, so it is coming. We know it is on its way. So a lot of people will obviously want to be a part of that and see what that's all about. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Obviously, Rangers will make sure that they make it well aware that this is the time to pay your money, and they will get it off you one way or another. But I'm sure that like a lot of folk, that it's a simple, let's do it again next season. I hope that we're all, next season's you're using your season ticket and you're coming away slightly chuffed with what you're seeing on the pitch. But exciting times are ahead. It's going to be a big season, one that we need to be winning the league. We need to be winning the league. It's been, the fact that it's been keep going on, and it has just been this, I hate to say it, this dominance from Celtic in terms of winning league trophies. It needs to stop, especially now, because obviously when you look at the two clubs together, they're now ahead in kind of domestic honours. So next season is massive for a multitude of reasons. So yeah, get your season tickets renewed, and CD9 get top goal scorer. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think the majority will renew their season tickets. It's exciting times, you would think, hopefully, in the summer, in terms of new ownership coming into Rangers, fresh investment, new players, hopefully better players than what we've signed in recent years coming into Rangers. And it'll be interesting what the team looks like in the first league game of the season in the first week of August. Obviously, we've got pre-season to look forward to too. But yeah, it's exciting times. I think the majority will renew their season tickets. There was a bit on it, Ross. I know you're not a season ticket holder, but there was a bit on it in terms of the second section, in terms of you're in there, and they kind of repeated themselves in terms of that section. Basically, any nonsense, and they'll need to review that area. I want to kind of touch on it. What's your thoughts on the Union Bears moving into Copeland? Has it worked in terms of what you thought it would be or what the club thought it was going to be? It's difficult. I think it's maybe caused more issues in terms of people who've sat there, and it's created an atmosphere within that stand. I think it's difficult because I don't sit in it, but just reading between the lines, I think there's an atmosphere in that stand between people who are maybe sat in those seats and the UB being there. It's a difficult one because they want the UB right behind the goal in terms of adding more of a spectacle, where they better sitting in the Broomloan in the corner, maybe trying to take right along the Broomloan front potentially. But what's your thoughts on the UB and the Copeland front this season? Do you think it's worked, or do you think there's more work to be done on it?
I'll be honest and say I'm not too sure. I think probably my eyes are used to seeing them in the Broomloan, so there's probably a bit of that, especially whenever I'm at the games, I'm in the club deck, and you know they're right beside me. So I'm probably a wee bit biased because I like seeing them there, especially on the European nights when you've got the tifos right by your side, and obviously they're right beside the away fans. But I always remember Dortmund at home, and you just got this sea of red, white, and blue, and you've got the yellow pyros right beside it. It looks cracking. It looks absolutely brilliant. So I don't know. I think there's obviously the UB themselves are wanting the standing section. That's the desired outcome from it. Does it add to the atmosphere having them in the centre? I'd say maybe give it another season. They've came this far to kind of get it. They'll keep going with it. I don't see them going back. But you know the display for Fenerbahce was impressive. You've had some cracking ones there this season already. So it might just be a case of getting used to it. In terms of the kind of things off the pitch and the kind of warnings, that it's probably expected. There's been too much of that kind of off the pitch stuff in recent times, so it does make sense that they kind of address that before it all happens. So yeah, I think kind of if we can just kind of trial it and see how it keeps going. If it does go back there, then I'll be quite happy because I'll be right next to it. But I have nothing really against it as long as the team are winning the pitch. That's all that matters. The one thing that thank you very much, John Lally gifting 5 subs. So that means that I believe that there'll be some lucky winners in the chat who will receive a membership. Unlucky, correct. I mean, 29, 30 months. That's ridiculous. So hang on tight for that one, folks. But yeah, Justin as well for 30 months, and John Lammy for 29. Outstanding, folks. Thank you. But yeah, I think as well for the one thing for me that's strange actually, it was on the Fenerbahce night, and you know you're getting to the last stage of the game, and the UB are at that side of the goal. Usually, it's quite nice having the first half where usually we shoot towards the Broomloan. Having if you score it at Leipzig, for example, you've got the UB there and it's absolutely bouncing. Whereas it's kind of flipped on the other hand now that the atmosphere is maybe on the other side of the pitch. So again, it's all about getting used to. Regardless of where you are in Ibrox, the whole 4 stands are rocking. So yeah, we'll see what happens with it. But let's just hope that the politics off the pitch stays to a minimum. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just think there's a slight disconnect between the UB and the board at the moment. I think they disagree on a few things. I like the UB. I think if they weren't there, I think Ibrox would be extremely quiet. I think they create a good atmosphere within Rangers. Ibrox, obviously, their tifos as well are exceptional, the ones they've done. I know they've been warned, not just them, any fans have been warned in terms of the pyros, which look good. I mean, they do look good, the pyros, but we've been warned by UEFA. Obviously, as we mentioned in Club Deck Corner, our next game at Hampden, we're going to have 500 fans less because of this. Obviously, banners they've put up, etc. So, it's a difficult one because, I mean, the pyros, I liked it. I always remember we played... who was it? It was in, I think Morelos scored in the 90th minute to win the game to make us go through to the Europa League qualifiers. Who was it? Was it a Polish team or something? You'll probably know. Was it Liga? What? So it was something in the
like
comments.
that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I remember after it was about 70-minute mark or something like that, their corner just erupted in flares, and the whole corner of their ground just went up. I'd never seen anything like it at Ibrox, and it was so cool. And it actually just took the sting out of the Rangers, because Rangers were on top at that point, and it took the sting out of it. But it was good to see. And if there was a way of getting football grounds in a safe way, I'd be up for it. But at the moment, I mean, UEFA have warned us in terms of banners, etc., and other stuff, that any more nonsense than that Copeland Road stand will be closed, which we don't want, because there's innocent fans within that stand that'll be targeted. But yeah, I like the UB, to be honest, and I know a few of them that come at my work as well. So they're there for the right reason. They're there to support Rangers like the rest of us. So we'll just need to see next season in terms of that singing section, if it grows, etc. But I think it will. But moving on, obviously Bilbao is round the corner, Ross. We play them next Thursday at Ibrox. It feels ages ago since we played Fenerbahce, and the wait between the two legs. It's actually my sister's birthday that we play Bilbao on the 10th of April, so I will not be going down to see my sister. I will phone her to say happy birthday, but I will be at Ibrox. But the allocation for the away leg, which is the following week, I think it's the 17th, we play at Bilbao. Rangers have been given just over 2,500 allocation. I think it's 2,544 was the number in terms of allocation. It's a small number in terms of their ground, Ross. I think their grounds, you'll probably be able to tell me, or somebody, must be round about the same kind of sizes of Ibrox. I'd imagine it's round about 50,000 capacity. Somebody will probably tell me in the comments. But the away support have only got 2,544. I don't know if they'll infiltrate the home areas, which they have done previously on their journey, the Bears out in Bilbao, but it's a bit of a small allocation for them. But I'm sure the guys going over there will enjoy themselves anyway. Do you know that the actual? Do you know what Bilbao Stadium holds?
It's saying.
I was hoping you're doing a bit of googling. There you go.
I am 53,289. That's the stat that Mr. Google's saying. So yeah, similar to Ibrox. It'll be an absolute cracker. Although it'll be an absolute roaster as well. It'll be boiling over there, I imagine. Especially this, you're getting into the time. Yeah, it's not too bad here. So if you imagine over in Spain, it'll be not too bad. But it's a trip that I wish that I was going on. I'm not. I will not be there for the away leg. But yeah, to anybody who's will going over there, part of that 2,500, you know what they'll be like. They'll make the noise. Obviously, it wasn't that long ago. Even thinking about Spanish teams, that Betis away end, that one for me, I always remember seeing that on the TV, and just it's nothing like it. Nothing like it. Everybody is bouncing. There's not a single person standing there. So this will be no different. I just hope that we go over there with a wee bit of just. I mean, if we want to go through, we need to be winning next week. That tie next week, we need to be up. So I hope that's the case. It's not a too nervy a watch, but they'll be tough. They will be tough, regardless. But yeah, 2,500 is, it doesn't sound like a lot, but Rangers make it sound like a whole lot. So it should be absolutely class. But lads, plenty of sunscreen and sunglasses, please. Just make sure that you're well prepared for the elements of Spain.
Yeah, I'm not sure what temperature will be. I mean, Bilbao's the north of Spain. I actually did look at potentially going to Bilbao, but it was the price of flights, and I even looked at you get there's a ferry from Portsmouth to Santander, whatever it is, and it's a ridiculously long ferry on the Bay of Biscay as well, which is one of the roughest bits of sea as well, which would be mental. But I looked at different routes, and so expensive to get there. But I will say, if Rangers do get to the final, which is in Bilbao, I will get there one way or another. I don't know how I will get there. I'll pay it. But I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's a lot of money. But going out there, it'll be a very good trip. Going to Bilbao. I do like Spain. When me and Scotia went to Seville to see Rangers in the final, that was great city. Good people as well too. The food, drink was brilliant too. So yeah, good luck to everyone out and going out to Bilbao. I was actually thinking, Ross, I prefer as a football fan, and I preferred when we got to Seville that we had the second leg at Ibrox all the time. I preferred that. Do you think this time, because this Rangers team are utterly bizarre at the moment, do you think it suits them the other way around now in terms of, say, for instance, we went out to Bilbao, like we did Fenerbahce, got a result and came back to Ibrox, the pressure would be on them in terms of going through the round. Do you think because it's flipped in terms of, depending what the result is against Bilbao at Ibrox, but say we're in the game, I don't think there's as much pressure on Rangers going away to Bilbao, which in a bizarre way makes them play better. They're better away from home in Europe this season, I think, than at home. But what's your thoughts on that in terms of 2 years ago when it was the opposite way around suited us?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one. I'd personally, if I had to pick, I'd be having the home leg second.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, I think you're right. Whenever we're away from home, the pressure does seem to be off. So that's when, if we were at first, you'd hope that they'd come away. Could you come away with a 2-1 away from home, and then you're back at Ibrox, where realistically you can use, I know it's a cliche, but you can use Ibrox as that 12th man. So for me, I would have probably preferred to have it in the second one. So I just, as I say, I hope that we have a good platform for going over to Seville. But as you say, we've shown that away from home we can, as much as domestically our away form is one thing that was killing us. In Europe, it's been the one shining light, really. You look at, even just go back to Malmo, to even Olympiacos, Nice. We've been strong away from home. But I hope that this isn't one step too far. Bilbao have, got a lot of good words spoken about them. Very, very decent teams and very, very fast wingers. That's usually the one thing I look at. Who's playing the wing? Me, I like the skill move players in FIFA, so they've got their good wingers. But I hope that this isn't one step too far. But again, we'll get there when we come to it. Next Thursday. It'll be an absolute cauldron. So if we can make it as big an atmosphere as possible to give us the biggest advantage going into the second leg, then we should be in good stead. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm glad that there's still something to speak about this season. If we win the Europa League, we'd be trying to gallivant over Hibs at home. That's people don't want to hear that. I want to hear about the European lights. So I'm glad that we're in this position to speak about that.
Yeah, no, it is good that we have something to play for. In terms we're still in a competition, which is bizarre that it's the Europa League quarter-final. But yeah, it'll be weird. I've seen some folk in the comments saying it will be weird the first leg at Ibrox. It will. I hope it is bouncing. I hope it is that atmosphere, Ross, that we usually have when we have the second leg at Ibrox, because it is a 12th man for Rangers, I think. When we went to, I don't even know what age you would have been back there, Ross, if you remember. When we went to UEFA Cup final under Sir Walter, I don't know what age you were away back then, but I think we played all the home games in the first leg, and it was a weird atmosphere at Ibrox. I remember we played Sporting Lisbon, we played Fiorentina in the semi-final before we went out there, and you would think a semi-final at Ibrox would be absolutely bouncing, and it wasn't. Whether it was nerves in the crowd, I don't know. And we took it was a 0-0 draw, I think we took out there, but it wasn't the atmosphere what you associate with, I'll say, the Seville run, the Leipzig game, etc., the Braga games, all those games where Ibrox was electric. So yeah, I hope next Thursday everyone's up for it, because after that game, it's it's half time basically after Ibrox in terms of we need to get to Bilbao, and they're a very good team, Bilbao. I pity Scotia's not here because he could probably tell us everything about Bilbao, because he knows everything about Italian and Spanish football. But they're sitting fourth, Bilbao. They'll probably be the strongest team we've faced. I know Lyon was a tough one for us, and they gave us a lesson at Ibrox. I think Bilbao's up there with them. I think they'll be a very good team. So we'll see what happens when it comes on Thursday. Obviously, we'll be back on Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is next week, and we'll discuss Bilbao. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring up the allocation because it had been confirmed this week. So good luck to the lads going out there in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully there's something to play for when you go out there. If not, you can just get pushed out there. So I win. But we'll move on again, Ross. But there's been murmurs in terms of the league, in terms of at the moment it's a 12 in the top league, in terms of there's 12 teams that split. The splits there as well, which some people just don't like. I don't like the split, to be honest. But they're talking about potentially, and this is just potentially, going to a 10-team top league. The reason behind it, and they're going to make the games. They're going to have 2 less games instead of 38 games a season. It'll be 36. No split as well, which some people might like. But the reason behind it is because of the UEFA club competitions that were in Champions League, Europa League, Conference. There's more games now. They're trying to have less games to help the clubs in these competitions and to ease fixture congestions. What's your thoughts on a 10-team league? I'll be honest, myself, I don't like the structure at the moment. I don't like the split. Me and Carney were talking about it off camera the other night, and I don't like how the 7th place team can end up with more points than potentially the 4th place team in the league, because they're playing the bottom teams, if you want to say. But and also the relegation, I don't like it. I know one team from the top league goes down, but the 2nd place team goes into a playoff with the championship teams they need to go through round robin games with each other before they play the team in the second last position in the top league, which is heavily an advantage for that team. So I don't agree with that. But what's your thoughts on potentially a 10-team league? Are you for it, or have you got anything else you would propose instead?
I'm definitely not for it, mate. I'm not for it. I don't think. I mean, even think of it. If teams are playing Rangers and Celtic, more than they already are, surely then if you look at the league table at the end of the season, Rangers and Celtic, with all due respect, will be flying and the gap will be significant. So in the eyes for people looking in, it will just look like more of a, people say it's a two-team league just now. It'll be even more than that because teams will be way, way behind. I understand the idea behind it. Obviously, we always look to see, have teams had a rest, and recent times they have. But at the same time, Rangers, whenever they go for a rest, it seems like it's done them no world of good at all. It's usually whenever they have a game in between, they seem to do well. So I do understand it from the point of view of obviously the players' well-being, etc., making sure that they're not too fatigued. But I don't know if 10 teams is the way to go for it. I think as well, you have to look at the championship this season. It's been a decent championship. I know obviously Mr. Saturday Night, Scotty Arfield at Falkirk's been putting on a bit of a show there. So I would potentially like to see some not teams getting removed, maybe teams coming up like a Falkirk, for example. I don't know. It puts me off a wee bit. We kind of get sick to death of watching the same teams over and over again. So to make that even more so, it would just be a bit too much for me. But Sky Sports would not be best pleased with that. That's for sure. They would be not best interested in that. So for me, I don't think it will go through. I think it needs 11 of the 12 teams to agree to it for it to kind of go ahead. Yeah. So I wouldn't imagine people would go for it. And another thing as well is do the fans want it? I don't think the fans do. Is it just people try to? Is it more commercial motivation for the league? I don't know. I know that a lot of the kind of sentiment online is that nobody's really for it. So I can't see it going ahead. But we shall see what happens. It's one of these things that are very much out of our hands, mate. It will get dealt with behind closed doors, and we will be told the aftermath of it. So I hope there's not 10 teams. And I hope to see Mr. Scotty Arfield back at Ibrox very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely. Scotty Arfield had a fantastic song at Ibrox as well.
Oh yes,
I did like that. I actually come home tonight and the Waka Waka come on in my car, which reminded me of phoning Mr. Haymarch every Saturday night, and I was pissing the pub back in the day when I'm singing the Sakala song. That was a great song. But Big Phil there saying play a 14-team league split after 26. I wouldn't mind that, to be fair. As you mentioned there, Ross, there's teams in that championship that I think are just as good, if not better, than some of the teams in the lower half of the top league at the moment. You mentioned Falkirk, they're going to win the championship. There's other teams, I was going to say Livingston, but they've got that bloody plastic park. But there's teams there, United, Dunfermline's, that Neil Lennon's the manager of. I did see that Victor Wanyama in his debut get sent off. It's unbelievable. But there's teams within that championship that I could think could come up to the top league, because it's a bit boring as a football fan. You're seeing these teams all the time. To be honest, I think Celtic played Dundee twice in 2 or 3 weeks, or a couple of weeks ago as well. I remember there was a season 2-3 years ago, Ross, that we played Kilmarnock. I think we played them 7 times in one season. We played them 4 in the league. We played them in the League Cup, and I think we played them in the Scottish Cup twice because it went to a replay. I ended up playing them 7 times. Kilmarnock as well. So it's it's not exciting enough. You look down at England. I know there's a lot of more teams down there and stuff, but their championship, I think their championship's brilliant. I think their playoffs are brilliant as well. I think that's fantastic. Their playoffs are the richest game in the want to say in football. The team that wins that to come up to the Premiership. We just don't have that, to be fair. It's the top league's aimed at keeping 8 teams in, to be fair. I'd like to see more teams from the championship being able to come up, or a chance at coming up. There's a guy saying now Morton get 5,000 a week. That's more than bloody Ross County, etc. Even Livingston get their games. So, yeah, it'll be interesting going forward. But at least they're talking about potentially changing stuff. Hopefully it's not a 10-team league, because I don't know if I'd like that. Moving on, the presser was, I think it was yesterday, the presser was, Ross. Like I said to you as before we come on, I've not had a right good chance to listen to it. I've seen snippets of it. It was Neil McCann as well, which I love to listen to Neil McCann. I think he talks well. He's always good when he's on sports. He's on Sky, the way he talks about football, the way he talks about the game, etc. But he was on. Obviously, Barry took a back seat and let Neil McCann do the presser. Injury news, your pal Cherny with his super soaker. He talked about him being kind of potentially maybe there 50-50. I'll be honest, Ross, if he's 50-50, especially with Bilbao coming up next week, I'm not risking him. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I wouldn't say so. Not from the start, at least. Maybe bring him on the last half hour if he wants a wee bit of game time. But Tierney's influential for us. He's one of the guys who, as I said at the start of the show, that potentially keeping them. I wouldn't be risking them at all. So I reckon you'll probably see again. We'll get into our teams later, but I don't think you'll see Tierney tomorrow. But on McCann, it was the first time actually that I've properly sat down and obviously held him kind of in the background of the radio. First time obviously listening to him as a kind of Rangers part of the staff. He speaks well. He does speak very well. He did get a bit of a fright from the microphone in the first few minutes, which I thought was quite a good laugh. But he's very much he'll win fans quite easily in the way that he speaks. Obviously, he's been here, he's done it before. What I thought was interesting is that him and the background staff have brought like a real Scottish kind of identity to it, which I thought was quite interesting. Very much they are very much say how it is. Hard work, work hard, play hard, etc. So I'd love to see him stay for a good amount of time. Definitely the one kind of conversation is, regardless of who the manager is next season, who's the backroom staff. if it is the staff that are currently there, I'd be delighted. I'd be absolutely delighted. I don't think Ferguson would probably want to be the second fiddle to whoever the potential new manager might be. But the people who are there just now are doing a great job. If they could get on with a new manager, or if it is Ferguson, then brilliant. Because that kind of identity that we spoke about, that we've potentially lost over the years. As much you've still got your Tavernier there, your Balogun, losing players like a Goldson, etc. Your players have been here for a long, long time. Your Stephen Davis. You need those players about, especially if the likes of a Balogun and influential figures going to be leaving at the end of the season, then, keeping as many of these kind of Rangers bodies, if you will, in the door as possible. It's going to do us a lot of good. So yeah, I think, again, as I say, he speaks very well, although just make sure that he turns the microphone down for the next interview so he doesn't get it right.
I did that when we did the live show in the Loudon, Ross, I got the microphone straight away, and I think I had it too close to me, and it did that big, massive, weird noise right at Loudon. So you could tell I've never been holding microphones before, but I get into the rhythm of it afterwards like near I can. So I feel his pain. But he did say the rest of the squad is fine, which is unusual. Usually there's always somebody that's got something wrong. He did say young Bailey Rice has got a kind of small knock. He kind of mentioned, he did talk in terms of, they asked him in terms of next season about being at Rangers next season, in terms of do they want to take on Rangers next season, and I think he said he'd be stupid not to. It's a bit of a daft question. They want it. Jim Sloan, 32 months, if I remember.
32.
God,
Jim, is that the biggest number so far, potentially?
Jim's a sucker for punishment, honestly, Jim. God, well done, Jim, though. You've done well. 32 months, God. My girlfriend's not even reached 32 months with me yet. Well done, Jim. But, aye. In terms of next season, Ross, they've tried to get out of Barry. He's not really said much. He's saying, I'll just take each game at a time and see what happens at the end of the season. So Neil McCann's the first one who has said it, that, yes, they would want to take it next season. I don't know if you have been on in terms of we've kind of discussed it, but what's your thoughts? I think a lot of Rangers fans, after 2-0 at Dens Park, were probably looking at each other going, he's not going to get the job now, but they came back. They won the game. He's got to be in the talking for next season in terms of the management team, because he's getting a tune out of these players. They're reacting to him. He's changing things within games, which we see as fans, and obviously Clement was quite rigid in terms of what he would do. He wouldn't do much within a game, or he would change like for like. Ferguson changes personnel, but also changes formations at times in games too. But what's your thoughts in terms of next season with the management team we've got at the moment? Do you think they have to, well, if they do, they have to win every game at the end of the season. They need to beat Celtic. And they probably need to get us past Bilbao. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so. Listen, I do think Ferguson's probably put himself in the running for at least an interview. Obviously they won't. I can't see Ferguson coming out and saying it. They will want the job. Yeah. He's a Rangers man. It's the dream job at the end of the day. But what I will say is that although it was good, that result against Dundee, results like that won't get them the job. They'll see us conceding goals. If we have those kind of nervy games, the new management will see that and go, right, Rangers is not about conceding X amount of goals in X amount of games. There's something that we could do that fix. If we can, keep the back door shut, keep the zero, as a Gio Van Bronckhorst would say, then maybe we could be having a serious conversation about it. But I do think that there's still signs that I do think that a new ownership would look at and say we can maybe bring somebody else in there. I'd love it to be Ferguson. Don't get me wrong. I'd love it to be, but we need to start showing consistency. Yes, we've had good results recently, but actually showing consistency in terms of like dominating games, coming away convincingly. So that's, again, as I say about the old habits. If we can get them sorted, then yes, he could be the guy to bring us forward. But I don't know who the new get the board, we'll have in mind. I'm sure there'll be a big glamour name, the American. They usually like to go big with it, so they'll bring in somebody big. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'd love it to be Ferguson, mate. Don't get me wrong, I'd absolutely love it to be.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I say, I think it's going to be exciting times this summer as a Rangers fan in terms of what's happening at Ibrox and who the next manager is going to be, who we're bringing in players, etc. It'll be exciting for me, I think. There was a question asked, Ross, which is up here, which I will get up for us. Rumour has it Wrexham are interested in Lawrence. Would we let him go? Well, he's a free agent in the summer, so Tom Lawrence can go. He can speak to Wrexham right now if he wants. Tom Lawrence won't sign for Rangers. He will be leaving Rangers in the summer. I'd be shocked if Rangers offered him a deal. They won't. I know he scored obviously against Dundee. Everyone knows I like Tom Lawrence, but you get hit with the curse of Rangers and get injured. But Wrexham, I think that's probably a good team for him. They're potentially maybe going up this season. I think they're sitting second or something in League One, whatever it is. So they're potentially going to go up to a championship. Obviously, Welsh, Tom Lawrence is Welsh too, so it kind of ticks the boxes. What's your thoughts on Tom Lawrence? He will leave Rangers in the summer, won't he?
Yeah, he will. And it is a bit of a shame because for me, I might get slated in the comments for this. I genuinely think that technically with a ball at his feet in terms of finding a pass, hitting a shot especially, he's one of the best at the club. You know, he's scored a fair few cracking goals for us. But it's the overall kind of play for me. As a number 10, you're looking for somebody to consistently show it. And for me, Lawrence, he's had his spells. He's been brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Rangers is the kind of the final destination for him. I could see him going to the likes of Wrexham, which, as you say, would be a great move. You know, there's a great bit of publicity around Wrexham in the last few years. So it'd be a great move for him. A guy who actually scored a crack against Hibs. So we'll tell you what, we'll give you him after the weekend. We'll let him play against Hibs to score another worldie, and then we'll give you him Wrexham. But for next season, I don't see Tom Lawrence being in the plans. But it's probably a player we do need to fix. Don't get it in terms of we need to replace because he has popped up with goals. So if we can, ideally, if you have a player like a Tom Lawrence who is on the bench, then that's fine. Let's replace him. But let's replace him with somebody who can score goals like Tom Lawrence as well, because he has contributed a fair decent few this season. So he will be moving on, but as long as we can fill that hole, then we'll be sorted.
Yeah, that goal Tom Lawrence scored against Dundee, nobody else in that midfield scores that for me. That's what he can do, Tom Lawrence. I agree. I think he's technically one of the best players we've got. I think he can move a ball quick. I think he's intelligent in terms of that colour ball at times. He can score. Talking about Hibs, I think he scored against Hibs the last time we played them at Ibrox. Curled a whirly into the top bin, and it was ruled offside, and I think it went to VAR, and it was given goal for Rangers. So, he's got something to prove, Tom Lawrence, in terms of he obviously wants a club for next season. I think there'll be plenty of clubs, I think, in that championship in England that'll take Tom Lawrence because he's played there the majority of his career, Tom Lawrence. And I did see he was back in the Wales national team as well, along with Rabbi Matondo, who actually scored for Wales as well in one of the games, I think, too. So I've not actually looked at Matondo, how he's doing since he left us, but he was in the Wales team too. But good luck to Tom Lawrence because everyone knows I like Tom Lawrence. I thought he'd be a cracking signing, but unfortunately, injury struck him, and he's never really recovered from it, to be honest. He's lost a bit of yard of pace too. So, yes, good luck to him. But moving on to Saturday, 3:00, we play Hibs at Ibrox, which I'm looking forward to, Ross. I don't like Hibs as a team, if I'm being honest about them. They're basically Celtic of the East, aren't they, over there? But I'll be honest, they're going well, Hibs. They're third at the moment, just above Aberdeen with 1 point, I think. But they are going well. The last 5 games in the league, they've won 4 and drawn 1. I like when we play Hibs, Ross, because they're the only real team that come to Ibrox and at their own ground, to be honest, to give them credit, they actually come and play football. Rarely the Hibs come and sit, whether it's because they don't have the players to come and sit because we've got that Bishuri at the back, who I don't think is great, but you've got to give them credit the way they play football, Hibs. I like the way they play football. They've got quick wingers. They've got that Boyle, obviously, who's tormented us for a good few years now. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I think it'll be a good game of football. Maybe Crocker and McFadden, they should choose this for Sky because I think there'll be goals in it tomorrow. Man, no, Neil McCann in his presser said Rangers need to stop conceding goals, but I think there'll be goals in it tomorrow because Hibs are going well. They'll fancy themselves tomorrow. Hibs, I don't think they'll sit back. I think they'll have a go at Rangers. But what's your thoughts on tomorrow? Are you the same as me in terms of you like playing Hibs because they tend to open up against us?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the ones in the calendar that you look at, and it's a must go to. There's a lot of blood around Hibs. Obviously, the last 15 games in the league that are unbeaten. It was only 3 games ago they lost to Celtic though at the other end of it. And obviously that was Celtic at Parkhead beat them 2-0 and we beat Celtic. So doing the math there's no excuses tomorrow. I do honestly hope that we're coming away with a win at Ibrox. I mean, would that be a fifth loss at Ibrox in the bounce? That's not a stat that I want to be rhyming off next week. That's for sure. So I do hope there's goals in it, mate. It will be I'd imagine it'd be a good turnout. The weather's good, as you say. Hibs coming on a Saturday. It should be a good turnout. So I'm looking forward to it. As you say, Martin Boyle, the guy's on form just now. The last 3 games of the league, he scored in all 3. So they do have quality. They do have players that have stung us in the past. But again, any team that comes to Ibrox, it's a cliche, but we should be beating them. So I'm looking forward to it, as we say. But please, just 3 points again, as you say. Make it a boring 1-0, 2-0. Just 3 points, and we can enjoy the rest of our weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I know they like breaking records this season, Rangers, and not good records. But tomorrow, I mean, God, to lose 5 games in a bounce at Ibrox, what a start that would be. But yeah, I mean, tough team, Hibs. I mean, like I said, I don't like Hibs, but I'll give them credit that they are going well. He's got them playing well. And like I say, I think it will be a good game tomorrow. What's your thoughts, Ross, in terms of, we've touched on Bilbao Thursday night. Do you think he may rest some players with Bilbao? Obviously, Bilbao's a big game for us. I mean, tomorrow is a big game because we need to get back to winning ways at Ibrox. We need to start winning in the league. We need to stop conceding stupid goals. But the big game is Bilbao on Thursday in terms of the grand scheme. I think we can actually play for something there. I've seen Jim Williamson's there saying about potentially resting players. What's your view on that? Do you think he might rest some players tomorrow?
I do think so. I think it would make sense to. Although, in the same point of view, there's been times in the past where we've rested players and it has well and truly came back to bite us. But I do think there's a few players that you can rest tomorrow. 2 being Tierney. If he's not 100% fit, then keep him, save him. Again, give him 20, 30 minutes at the end, but I wouldn't bring him in from the start. And I'd be resting Balogun as well. For me, I want Balogun playing against Bilbao next week.
Is Suter suspended, Ross? Is Suter and Diamande suspended?
Next week
for the first leg?
Yeah. So I would be definitely resting Balogun with that in mind. Because if we are sticking to this back 3 as next week, are you going to see Inciala come back in? You'll have Inciala proper.
Fernandes.
Oh, Jigs, Fernandes. I know. Yeah. I mean, you might see him on Saturday. You might see him on Saturday. Honestly, again, if there's anybody in the press or who can ask where he is, please ask the question. I'd be lovely to know. But I do think there's a few players potentially that could be rested. Could you see it? Agaman's been brought off here and there. Could you see him rested from the start? I don't know. There's a few maybe dimensions it can go to. But for me, the 2 ones are Tierney and Balogun. Rest them both. Play it relatively safe. But let's make sure that we have enough quality on the pitch to get over the line. And that'll do me.
Yeah. I'll be interested. I still think it'll be a pretty strong team tomorrow. He might pull a couple of players out with Suter and Diamande suspended for Bilbao. They'll play for me, I'd imagine. I joked about Fernandes because, I mean, I said it away back in January, Ross, when we signed him. I thought it was a bizarre signing. guy that's hardly played football. We were looking for somebody that could go into at that time, remember, we were looking for somebody that could go straight into the first team. I know we were rumoured with Johnny Evans back at the time. Yeah. And you would have taken the guys to go straight in because we were crying out for somebody to go in and play centre half. And we went and signed a guy on loan that's hardly played football, and he's not played football for us at all. I think there's one game he's kind of played. Never really to be seen. A bizarre signing in January, which I doubt we will see him. He'll be gone in the summer, Fernandez. But let's go on. Teams and scores, Ross. This is a difficult one for me to pick tomorrow. I know I won't be right, but I'll let you go up first. So what is your team for tomorrow and your score and first goal scorer as well?
Okay. So I think it'll be Butland and goal. It's a good point from Justin. Do you see Kelly come in at some point? I don't know. Will we see the change with Butland? I'm not sure.
Does he deserve to start Butland?
Exactly. It is the question. I do think the goalkeeping is always a tricky one, because I think if any other position has that kind of form, they get brought out. You look at, for example, Adenciala gets brought off after half an hour because he's not playing well. So it does kind of, it does ask the question. I do see Butland starting though. I probably see him sticking in the sticks. I think I'm gonna stick with the back three. I'm gonna go with Dujon Sterling, John Suter, and your mate Robin Proper. I think he's going to come in. It's going to be those three at the back. Then you have Tav in the kind of right, Jeff Day in the left. I'm going to bring him in. Yilmaz did not do himself any favours much against Dundee. So I think Jeff Day probably comes back into the side. And yeah, I shall leave it there for Yilmaz. Don't want to slag him off too much. Midfield three, I'm going Raskin, Barron, Diamande. I think it's probably our strongest midfield still. I was kind of in between Debring and Hadji, but I just think with that game next week that worked so well against Celtic, etc., I'd be trialing that and just making sure that the three of them their chemistry's high going into that game next week. And then Iggyman Dessers up front. Again, if Tierney was fit, I'd probably be bringing in Tierney instead of Iggyman. I do hope Iggyman comes back. He does seem like a wee bit in a tricky space just now. Obviously, I had that crack against Celtic, and I was thinking, is that going to be hidden starting to come into a game? I don't know. It's maybe I'm nowhere near writing the guy off. He's young, and I think he's an incredible asset for us. The fact he's got, it's a massive contract. So I think it's 5 years contract that we've got with him. So he's an incredible player to have at the club. Massive potential. So I hope that he comes out with a goal tomorrow. And obviously Dessers, I hope that his first touch of the ball, it's straight in the back of the net. Get that monkey off the back, Cyril, because he can't be going through that again like last Saturday. But my score, I'm going for 3-1 Rangers. And it's going to happen. D9 with his first touch of the ball. It's going to be a D9 to start things off. But yes, mate, that's my team score.
Very interesting because you've picked the exact same team I was going to go with. I know, I agree. I mean, the Butland thing, if you just look him solely on, I don't think he deserves to start. It's a difficult one. I've said for weeks we try and play him through it, but he's just doing the same mistakes. But he's a discussion for later on. I've nailed my colours to the mast. I think we should be looking for a new goalkeeper next season. I don't think he's good enough, Butland. But I'll keep him in because Kelly's. I don't think he's any better, Kelly, to be honest. So Butland stays there. In terms of the backline, I agree. I think Proper will come in because Balogun. We can't risk Balogun because Suter's not there for Bilbao, so Balogun will play. So Proper could come back in. I'm sure he'll be. I'd like to think he'll be okay against Hibs. And then I agree with you with Yilmaz. I thought he was shocking against Dundee, which Haymarch won't like me saying, but he was terrible. Two crosses or whatever it was that he just ballooned into the stand at times. I mean, he looked like he'd never seen a football before. Yilmaz, again, he's a guy that I would move on this summer. So yeah, I agree. Jeffy should come back in, who again hasn't been great. But he's the only real guy there, so you play Jeffy. Midfield three, I think, picks itself at the moment. And then your top line, I agree. It's interesting you never even mentioned Danilo there, Ross.
Yeah.
Maybe you've came way to my round, I think, way of thinking that I just don't think he's good enough, Danilo. I know he came on against Dundee and looked all right, to be honest, but I don't think he's good enough, Danilo. £6 million we spent for him. Dessers gets a hard time, a really hard time, but that guy's scored goals. He contributes to Rangers. Danilo, yes, he's been injured for a bit, but he's not done enough for me, Danilo. He should be leaving in the summer too, hopefully. But I'm the same. I'm the same team. And I'm the same score as well, Ross. 3-1. I thought Hibs would score. I couldn't sit here and go, I think it'll be Rangers 4, Hibs 1, because I don't think they'll score as much as that. But I'm the same. I think it'll be 3-1 Rangers. And the first goal scorer, I am going to go for Diomande, actually. I'm going to go for a Diomande goal against Hibs. But I think it'll be a good game tomorrow. As you say, the weather's been fantastic the last week. I think it's slightly colder tomorrow, but it's to be sunny. If anyone's going along Paisley Road West, the Viceroy has its beer garden open now. It's a cracking beer garden. It's got a big, I think it's got a 100-inch telly outside or something. It's massive, this telly. You should see it out in a beer garden. But get yourselves along there. You will see myself, hopefully Mr. Carney, if he's well enough, and Scotia. We will be there tomorrow. But yes, Ross, we have nearly reached the hour. I thought we might struggle to reach the hour tonight because there wasn't a lot of news to talk about, but we just about got there. So I would like to thank everyone in the comments for tonight, everyone that's been a member for 32 months. I think it was the longest one we'd seen there. So unlucky for you. Hopefully you're here for the next 32 months as well. It's a pleasure having you here. As I say, thanks for your comments. And last but not least, thanks to my one and only guest tonight, Mr. Ross McLean. Ross, you are going to Ibrox tomorrow, I think. Enjoy yourself tomorrow.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. As you say, the sunglasses will be looked out. I'm looking forward to hopefully basking in the Ibrox sun. But yeah, likewise, thank you to everyone in the comments this evening. It's been absolutely cracking. Again, I say it every week, but it's a quick hour. It's a great hour. So hopefully we're here speaking to you after the game tomorrow with a Rangers win at home. I mean, come on, if there's any way to start your weekend, that's how we do it. So I hope that we're bringing that to you. But thank you, mate, as always. That was a good one.
Yes. I hope if it's me or me and Mr. Carney, whoever it is tomorrow, I hope we are bringing you a positive podcast after Rangers being at Ibrox and talking about a Rangers win at Ibrox. But yes, you will see me and hopefully Mr. Carney tomorrow in the Viceroy Beer Garden doing a post-match and hopefully a Rangers win at Ibrox. But yes, we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and thank you for joining us tonight.